Hi, Phil. I have a question that I think most of us have for you, which is how did you manage to scale such a grassroots idea of taking notes and staying ahead of competition in such a competitive landscape?
Uh, so that's a really great question. So we had the world's worst VC pitch, by the way, when we were starting out. Our first VC pitch was I'd go in, let's say, hi, I'm Phil Libin, you've never heard of me. We're going to make this product called Evernote, and it's going to let you, write things down using your computer, and we're going to give it away for free. Can I have $10 million, please? It didn't work, and we get kicked out. But usually, right before I got kicked out, they would ask me, well, who's your competition? And then it got even better, because I would say, well, every single computer or phone or PDA or device that's ever been released in the past 50 years already has a free note-taking program on it that's pretty good. So we kind of have infinite competition right away. And that wasn't a very good answer either. But we never thought about the competition. Like, we literally never paid attention, and we still don't. Not because the competition is not important, but because worrying about what other people are doing doesn't help you. This doesn't make your own product better. And your only shot of succeeding is to make your own product as good as possible. So it's almost completely irrelevant what anyone else is doing. And all we did is we built for ourselves.
Passion and gut feeling, I would say, probably.
Yeah. We only build things that we wanted to use. And this gave us an advantage because since we built it for ourselves, we were good judges of when it was good. And because the way the world is set up right now, because of app stores and social media and smartphones, if you make something for yourself, if you make something that you really love, there's going to be another 100 million people or maybe a billion people somewhere in the world that also really love it because they have similar tastes than yours.
Right.
And they're going to be able to find it and get it and know about it immediately, and use it. So I would say 5 years ago, it would have been very bad advice to say to a startup entrepreneur, just build something for yourself. But I think right now it's the right advice. So that's what we did, and we're off to a good start because we found another 80 million people so far in the world that love the same things we love, and I think there's another billion out there as well.
Super. I agree. Okay, my question is for us guys in the startup world. One of the problems we have compared to large corporations, we just have a few employees, but we have tons of ideas and really little resources. So I was wondering if you think that Evernote could be a tool also to help startups to discover those ideas perhaps that would be most influential and beneficial for the growth of the startup.
Yeah, that's a really good question. So my main task for the first, I would say, year and a half at Evernote, literally, like the thing that I spent most of my time on, was telling people to shut up and stop thinking of like clever things and just get back to work. Like, the biggest obstacle we had, when we had our first 20 employees, we had 20 brilliant people and 20 brilliant startup people who love coming up with ideas. And that was the most harmful thing in the world because you don't have time, and everyone wants to come up with new ideas, and no one actually wants to finish the idea from 3 weeks ago. And I really think that as a startup, it is not your job to innovate at all on anything other than like your main product. The main idea that you have, you need to innovate, but everything else you should try to do as conventionally as possible because you don't have the resources to innovate. I think bigger companies actually produce a lot more tangential innovation because they've got the resources to spend on it. But the hardest thing early on is just to get rid of ideas, not to do them. And I could never lecture somebody on focusing because I think if you look at what Evernote is doing now and how many products we have, like, obviously no one's going to believe me if I sit down and say you have to focus on one thing, young man, because we do like 20 things, and it works well for us. But we do 20 things but we have 10,000 ideas. So getting it from 10,000 to 20 is a type of focus, but it's tough. And yeah, we absolutely use Evernote for it. So we run the whole company in Evernote, and particularly Evernote Business. And the main thing about Evernote Business that works with us is with Evernote Business, I automatically know what other people are working on, because whenever I'm working on something in Evernote, it shows me if any of my coworkers are working on similar things. And that's actually a great way. Like now that we're, when we were 20, 30 people, I just knew what everyone was working on. Like you said, just kind of knows the startup. But now at 350 people, I don't know what everyone is working on. But when I'm working on something, I automatically see if other people are working on the same thing because of the way Evernote Business works. And that's super efficient. Like, I get a much better sense that even at 350 people, I still know what people are working on, and we can still make sure we're not wasting too much time duplicating effort and trying to come up with what the good ideas are.
So we should go for the Evernote Business. Probably will help, I would say.
I think it would be we build it to be great for us and for startups. So yeah, absolutely. I encourage people to use it and to give us feedback on how to make it better specifically for that cause. We always want to hear about it.
We do that.